Kenyan from a Kenyan sporting history point of view.
Yes.
The passing on of Mr. Wilson Kiprugut Chumo.
Yeah.
Really, really sad news.
Yeah, at a ripe age of 84. May he rest well. 84 huko kwetu, Mungu akikuchukua huwa tushtuki sana, tulii sana, tunasema we celebrate your life. He looks to me, or he appears to me to be the father of middle distance races.
Or at least the guy who set the pace. Not
yes.
the pace, the guy who opened the door.
Yeah, opened the door as far back as 1964, 1968 in Mexico and Tokyo Olympics. Represented Kenya, won medals. 800 meters, 400 meters is specialty. He also did a bit of 4x400 meters. Born in Kericho, of course, next to the land of where athletics come from. And we are forever indebted to him for setting the pace and showing us that this was possible and helping put Kenya on the map. Squeezy, hata ukiangalia CNN unaona hata Kericho kutanyesha wakati wanafanya weather forecast. Hata Itenu kutanyesha leo. So these are people who put Kenya on the world map, and
yes.
It's something to really celebrate about. But dear Kiprugut, may you rest well.
And he brings up that conversation which we had a few weeks ago of now when someone like him and he passes on and people are asking, did we honor him as we should have? Did we treat him as we should have? Bearing in mind, this is in the 60s.
Yes.
He's a guy who did the job in the 60s. This is him and Kip Keino. You saw the picture of the two of them doing rounds on the night.
Yes.
It's him and Kip Keino. It's Kip Keino, him, Ben Jipcho, Naftali Temu. Those really are the forefathers of athletics.
Yes.
And you look at it and you wonder, did we do right by him?
I really believe, firstly, that anybody can do so much to assist somebody. You should do the heavier part of things. And there is this thing that I am so much against, of athletes saying the government should take care of us in our old age, footballers, legends saying the government should take care of us. Listen, James, everybody does his bit to make this country better. There's somebody who is in the army, who is in Mogadishu. He's working hard to secure Kenya. There's a doctor who's going to conduct an operation tonight. He's going to save a life. Is going to make Kenya a better place. There's a nursery school teacher somewhere who is going to teach somebody A, B, C, D.
Which I think is probably the hardest thing you can do.
Up until the day that person is going to speak English like me and you are doing. So she or he has done something to make Kenya a better place. So I am a journalist. Pia mimi basi nisaidiwe nikisha retire niende niseme the government didn't take care of me.
Nasema wewe haujaletea sifa. Haujaleta sifa kwenye nchi.
I have unearthed scandals and bombshells. I've entertained people. I've entertained people. I have.
But here's the thing. The only thing.
But you get where I'm coming from.
No. And you do have a solid point because there's so many heroes. It's one of the things I agree about Mashujade.
Yes.
Wewe ni shujaa, because it basically means there's so many heroes in everyday walk of life.
Yes.
Forgetting the people who are privileged enough to be in those levels,
True.
but just in everyday walk of your everyday things that happen. In every walk of life, so to speak. But the only thing maybe I would want, and I really hope the CS can touch on this, because I think it's about time. The only thing that should be done is that there should be like a pension thingy that all sportsmen and women are forced to be part of. Unapenda, especially you have
an NSSF kind of thing.
Yes, and I think there is one in. I mean, you're a football man. When you have time, just find out. I think the Belgian football has one where all footballers have to have a pension.
You put something in that pot.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So, and I saw this from a South African footballer. I forget the name, but he'd played in Belgium for a while, and he was back home, and he was saying, you know what? I know I'm alright because I know we saved money, and that money will come to me, but only when I retire.
I think you're right, because when former Harambee Stars coach Bobby Williamson was diagnosed with cancer, it's the Scottish Coaches Association that came through for him to even get him the hospital he went to for treatment in India and a little bit of funding. All he had to do is to prove that he's not in employment, and he's a former coach who's coached in the Scottish Premier League and played in the Scottish Premier League. And of course, at that time, he was involved in a legal tussle with the Football Kenya Federation over unpaid arrears. Of course, he eventually won that case and was awarded 58 million shillings. But he was diagnosed at that point when he didn't have money and he was out of the job, and they came through for him. So what you're saying is right.
So maybe that's the only thing I would ask. That
aside from that,
yes,
I really love how the English plan for their life after being active. Look at Frank Lampard. Look at Steven Gerrard. We're getting it right in some points in Kenya where the likes of Paul Tergat come through and
football, you can have a lot of them. Mike Morori, Francis Baraza, Mwalala, Matano, Shedu, all ex-footballers.
Yes. So you look you try when you're still active. Try and identify what else you can do. I think we've had some discussions with players about it. They told you what they can do. A player wants to be an engineer probably after he's done with school and things to do with that. So just identify what you can do, whether it's business or something else. Start taking time to understand that trade and then transition when you're still active. I think I read somewhere as well, Mohamed El Neni is already taking his coaching badges. He's already training the under 13s at Arsenal, even though he's injured. So just look for something else you can do apart from football. Learn the trade, make it a passion, or look for something you're passionate about, and then start this transition slowly, because you won't be in football or sports forever.
I think basically, and this is a problem that's not, by the way, it's not unique to Kenyans. Before I continue, say, no, this is not a problem that's unique to Kenya. This is a problem that is unique to the whole world as far as this is concerned. Like, if you go back to NBA, if you go back to NFL, or people struggle once they finish a career, because you know what, for a sportsman, by the time you're done 10 years at the top, you're out, and that's if you're lucky.
The
average, I think the average one in the NFL is something like 3 years. Only 3 years at the top. So by the time you're doing 6, 7, 8 years, you are lucky. But even then, if you started at 18, for example, Dennis Oliech, by the time he was 32, 33, he was done. There are very few elites who've been around for 20 years.
For 20 years,
So there's need for someone to be able to figure out what's my second career, like you're saying. There's need for someone to be like Paul Kipsiele-Koech, who does 1,000 other things away from athletics. You need to be like
Fuga Kuku.
Yes. Well, actually, when we went to his farm, and we went to his farm maybe 10 years ago, he had all these things working for him, including a biogas. Then, this is, I'm talking about maybe 2009.
Wow.
Dairy farm, yogurt. Yes, so he's one of those guys. Felix Limo won London Marathon in 2006, finished his running, step aside, went to school, did veterinary medicine, and he's doing great things. So you've got to think like that.
And to stand a chance or a better chance of survival after being active in sports, I would really recommend athletes get a manager. Get somebody who can manage you, who can tell you things from a different angle, somebody who's done it before. People or athletes make even money from your social media pages. You can just make money while seated at home, while trying to influence staff and things. There's a lot of opportunities that you might not be able to see with your naked eye, but somebody can come into the fore, help you to make money, and you pay him or her for helping you to make money. Because I think you have a name, you have a brand, you have a following. So those are some of the things you need to look in, and I'd agree probably with you. Probably there should be some training to that effect of life after sports, and that is probably where the government can come in and try and see what it can do to just sensitize these athletes that you're not going to be in football forever. I was told a very interesting story about presidents of the country. From the first day you get into State House, you are told to start preparing for your exit. The day one. Put a plan, come up with a plan. You're not going to be here after 5 years, or best case scenario after 10 years. Start preparing now. So I think the government can come in to help the athletes only from that point of view.
Yep, and as we finish, also, we lost a footballer. This time a young man, really young. Kangi, young man, David Mwangi. Madare, I remember, my head just remembers him at Madare a lot. Left back, could go up and down that flank. Played for Tusker as well, played for Nakuru All Stars, played for Ushuru. Really good player. And for him, so sudden, so young again.
And the circumstances surrounding his death as well. It's such a sudden death, illness, and then you just, you're not there. As in, ile design tulishinda naye jana hapa. Tulikuwa naye jana, alikuwa anasema tukichwa. So, and then he goes, it's a big loss to the football family, especially at that young age when you have the whole life ahead of you to live. And for an interesting talent that has served Kenyan football for some time on the local scene and entertained us for long, it's sad, and may he rest well.
Weekend, yet another chance.